going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is brought to you in part by me, the 6th round, and of course, all my lovely friends. And just make sure to fasten your seatbelts because this card is going to be stacked. We have 2 title fights on the line, and it is a pay-per-view, but don't cry, because I promise you the money that you do invest into watching this card is going to be well worth every single dollar. I hope. We're just going to start it off right at the beginning of the card. That's right, we are doing the whole main card. We are starting off with a lightweight battle between Thiago Nightmare Sanchez, formerly known as
The Dream.
Thank God he changed it because it was absolutely ridiculous. Yes. Going up against Michael Chiesa. Michael Chiesa is as dangerous as ever and crafty in all realms of mixed martial arts. He's got fantastic stand-up and he's great on the ground. Deadly submission game, especially coming off of his back. If you're in his guard, please make sure to get up and get the hell out of there because time may not be your friend in this instance. Where Thiago Santos, he is an absolute nightmare. As soon as the bell rings, he runs at you. He's got pretty much drool coming off of his chin and he just psychosis or whatever he's got aside, he is a fantastic mixed martial artist as well. Obviously, the fact that he's got an amazing chin obviously leads to his success as well, but he has got fantastic head movement when he calms down and is not emotional. He's got tenacious wrestling and fantastic cardio, but cardio is not going to be a factor in this fight because both Michael Chiesa and Thiago Sanchez both have fantastic cardio. But I do say here that if I'm just going to break it down for the keys to victory, Chiesa being the longer fighter and being the more unemotional fighter should stand back and keep it a distance. Don't let Thiago Sanchez get into that proximity of yours because he's going to go there and throw bombs. Maybe not being successful, but he will be successful in setting them up so he can grab you, take you down, and try to eat you alive. I know Chiesa's deadly off of his back. I do get that. But I do think here the craziness of Thiago's wrestling could negate any kind of advantage that Chiesa has on his back as a jiu-jitsu expert. Now, when I'm talking about who's going to win this fight, I do think that emotion aside, Thiago Sanchez would probably have this fight. But I think Thiago Sanchez is going to come to this fight far too emotional. Chiesa is going to catch him and he's going to get angry. And basically the game plan is going to go out the window, which is a big problem for Thiago Sanchez. Sometimes it could be in his favor, but against a huge veteran and a calm demeanor fighter such as Michael Chiesa, I think this could be to Thiago Sanchez's demise. And I think that's where Michael Chiesa is going to catch him. That's right, he's going to catch Thiago Sanchez and then probably get on top of him on the ground and probably get a submission. Is Thiago Sanchez going to tap? Probably not, but I do think he is going to pass out in this fight. I got this going to Michael Chiesa all day. Now we are going to go up to the light heavyweight division. Blachowicz, yes, he's alive, going up against former middleweight champion who is now making his debut in the light heavyweight division, and that is Rockhold. Now, I am not overly fond of this idea of Rockhold moving up in the division. The reason why is because he didn't really clear out the 185 division to begin with, and he was fighting guys that were much smaller. He didn't have any far superior strength or talent than those at the 185 division, at least that he could really take advantage of. He's fighting guys that are going to be absolutely huge, and just starting off with Blachowicz. First of all, Blachowicz has fought his whole UFC career at the light heavyweight division, which means he is used to fighting these bigger, stockier dudes. And Blachowicz, as much as he has a supreme stand-up game, minus his last fight when he got knocked the hell out against Thiago Santos, but he has fantastic jiu-jitsu. He has great hands, which Rockhold, that's fine. He is a fantastic wrestler. He comes from the AKA camp, but do I really consider him an AKA fighter? No. The reason is because he did take a hiatus from fighting so he can go into his modeling career. At this point in his life, I don't think that the main thought, the main air that he breathes every single day is no longer MMA. But is he going to be taking this fight seriously? He's been talking right away about getting up there and going for a title shot. You need to slow your roll, Rockhold. This is Blachowicz, and you've never fought at 205 in this organization, so you need to take a step back and just realize what you are saying and who you are going up against, because in my opinion, you have a long road ahead of you to even get considered for a top contender fight in the light heavyweight division. I think your wrestling is good, but do I think it's superb enough to negate any superiorities, advantages that Blachowicz has to offer? No. No, I think Jan Blachowicz is the much bigger fighter. Even though Luke Rockhold's keys to victory should be to use that distance because he does got great reach, pick his time, and then take that takedown and get it to the ground, I think he's going to be overly emotional as well. He's got a lot to prove, and I think that's going to be playing in the back of his mind. He's going to go out there, he's going to be angry, and I think he's going to get caught as well. I think Jan Blachowicz is just going to catch him in a very, very creative submission. This guy's got submissions by bulldog chokes, so I do think this is going to be a very big problem, and I think Luke Rockhold is going to find himself in a lot of trouble and realize very, very soon that he is not really equipped for his division, and I see Luke Rockhold getting beat actually in the first round. Now we're going up to the co-main event. Literally the biggest personality now in the UFC, Ben Askren, and he is going up against very heavy-hitted Cubano Jorge Masvidal. Now, the one thing we gotta say about Ben Askren is he's tenacious, and man, can he take a beating. In his last outing against Robbie Lawler, where he won via bulldog choke, some may question whether or not he was actually asleep when Robbie Lawler slammed him on his head and fed him with an abundance of bombs to his chin. Some debate whether or not he was asleep, but nonetheless, whether he was asleep or not, he quickly awoken, or he was just awake the whole time, who's to say, and he gained his composure back, and he just stuck to the game plan and went at Robbie Lawler and ended up defeating him. Now, this was crazy because no one comes up from a beating like that and goes right back towards Robbie Lawler, unless you're Tyson Fury going up against Deontay Wilder. That's the only time I've ever seen this before, but that's boxing, so no one's talking about that now. But Ben Askren, no doubt, has a zombie-like chin. And obviously, aesthetically, he is very unappealing and looks very unintimidating whatsoever. But needless to say, his undefeated record proves otherwise. He was the Bellator champ. He was the ONE FC champ. Now he's trying to make his way to be the UFC champ. Is that going to work? Who's to say? But I think we're very much going to find out. And a win over Jorge Masvidal could really put him in that picture and shut down the haters. Now, Jorge Masvidal, on the other hand, coming off a huge, vicious knockout against the much bigger Darren Till. Jorge Masvidal has had this huge resurgence in his career, and he is very crafty from all different angles. Of course, he was born and bred in the Kimbo Slice street fight days, so you know he can take a shot, and you know he's gritty, and you know he's scared of literally no one. Not you. Nice suit. But that is something that is going to be great to see in this fight, because this is another Robbie Lawler-esque personality, which Jorge Masvidal brings to the table. Scared of no one, willing to bang, but he is very crafty as well. He's got superb takedown defense. His jiu-jitsu is not too bad, but his striking is very vicious. Now, he promises to take Ben Askren out, but is that going to happen? I don't think so, and the reason is because I don't think Jorge Masvidal has any significant power incremental advantage over Robbie Lawler. In fact, I don't think he's stronger than Robbie Lawler at all. So if Robbie Lawler can't put him away, I don't think you're going to put him away. But I do think the keys to victory for you, Jorge Masvidal, is to use that reach, but also of your legs. Now, I know you're weary of Ben Askren grabbing those legs and taking you down. That's why I suggest that the outside leg kick is going to be to the best of your skill set. And then after a while, when you see Ben Askren reaching down for that foot, switch it up with a switch kick and hit him right in the face. Are you going to knock him out? I really don't think so. But this is going to gain you the advantage. So then you can just win on the point card, because that's the only way I'm going to see you winning this fight. Ben Askren, on the other hand, I think he could really take you down and smother you. And obviously that's his game plan. That's been his game plan since being 1-0 in mixed martial arts. He's going to try to get you, get a hold of you, take you down, smother you until you can't stand anymore, try to get a submission, or just annihilate you until the decision bell goes. I think this is going to be a very, very fun fight. The ability to take a punishment that Ben Askren has, and his tenacity and his chin, are things that you can't really teach somebody. They're either something that you're born with or you are not, to prove that you are meant to be a fighter, or you got some things to work on. And I think that's what Ben Askren has here. So Jorge Masvidal, I think you are going to lose this fight. I think Ben Askren is probably going to put you to sleep with some kind of submission in the second or third round. I just think that zombie-like chin of Ben Askren is going to make the difference here in this fight, and his tenacity, and of course his cardio tank. Now we're going to go up to the co-main event, where we have our first title defense on the line. We have champ, that's right, women's bantam and featherweight champion Amanda the Lioness Nunes defending her belt against previous bantamweight champion Holly Holm and featherweight contender Holly Holm. Now, two completely different style fighters again. Once again, we have a Bulldog and Amanda Nunes, but I want to get back to that point in just a second. And we have striking tactician. Is that striking tactician going to prove to be an exciting fight here? If nobody's really engaging in Holly Holm could kind of prove to basically put on a boring performance. Kind of that tit for tat. If you don't hit me, then I'm not going to even engage and try to hit you. And that could be a little bit boring, but thank God she's going up against Lioness, who wants to put the pressure on you from the beginning of round one to the end of round, well, when you die. But Lioness has taken out Cyborg, my favorite women fighter of all time in the first round by devastating fashion. Ronda Rousey in the first round by devastating fashion. She has destroyed all the legends. Now, I know Holly Holm is maybe just knocking on that legend door, and if she wins this fight, she could very well be considered, especially if she does it in devastating fashion, one of the best, if not the best female fighter of all time. But I don't think she has a skill set to do that. The reason is because it is very unusual that we see a bulldog, such as Amanda Nunes, with such an amazing skill set. Her boxing is phenomenal. She doesn't really get emotional. She throws heavy bombs, but they're all sophisticated when she throws them. She knows exactly what she's throwing and where she's throwing them and at what time. She knows how to counter. She's got amazing head movement, and she knows when to remain calm and not engage at an emotional level where your skill set and your game plan goes out the window. That's going to be bad for Holly Holm, because Amanda Nunes, I think her keys to victory, of course, is to kind of play Holly Holm's game. I think do that counter fighting as well. And then when she gets close and backs Holly Holm against that cage, throw that one bomb that sets up the rest of the fireworks that she's going to throw out of her arsenal. And I think in that way, she is going to be able to catch Holly Holm, and Holly Holm's not going to be able to withstand the pummeling that Amanda Nunes gets her. Now, Holly Holm, the keys to victory here is keep it your style fight. You have longer limbs. You have fantastic kicks. Use those to keep the distance, because you don't want Amanda Nunes to let off her boxing. That's not going to go well for you, I promise. And kind of do what you did to Ronda Rousey. Trick those legs, outside leg kicks, body kicks, and then when the timing is right, when you feel the timing is right, even if it's wrong, throw that head kick, that switch kick. You have a beautiful kick, probably the best head kick in female MMA, and I suggest you get ready to use it here, because if the opportunity comes, a big if, when Amanda Nunes drops her guard, you can catch her with that head kick and at least wobble her to get an advantage, get some more points, and maybe even take it to the ground. But if we're gonna have to say who wins this fight, I think it is going to be Amanda Nunes, and I think she's gonna win it very quick. I think Holly Holm is going to be finished by TKO within, honestly, the first 2 rounds via knockout. Now we are gonna go to the main event. The main event I am super excited about, because it is, sometimes I hate saying it, but it is true, one of the greatest, if not debatable, the greatest mixed martial arts of all time. We are talking about Johnny Bones Jones, the current reigning defending lightweight champion of the UFC and the best mixed martial arts in the world, going up against probably the heaviest hitter that the light heavyweight division has ever seen, Thiago Mareta, which means the hammer in Portuguese, by the way, Santos. Now, Thiago Santos is making headway. He is making the headlines all over the place with this devastating one-punch knockouts against Jan Blachowicz, against Jimmy Manuwa, and the list goes on. He has dynamite in his hands, and he is huge, which is great, because if his arms were a lot smaller than it was, then forget it. This fight shouldn't even happen, because Jon Jones is just going to toy with you. He can put you away, but he is also one of those fighters that kind of likes to get hit to waken him up, but you don't want to get hit by Jon Jones. It gets him surged up, and he starts throwing wild. And if one of those punches hits, I do think Jon Jones can fold. But will they hit? That is the biggest debate here. There's no more methodical fighter than that of Jon Jones. Jon Jones knows what he's getting himself into. He studies the tapes. He knows Mareta's going to be wild. He's going to keep that distance with that knee kick. I'm telling you right now, that is the key for Jon Jones here. Smooth son of a bitch. And I hate to say it, because Jon Jones has been driving me nuts, but you cannot deny his ability. He has had a lot of asterisks beside his record. Not because he's done anything fishy in the octagon, but out of the octagon, testing picograms of steroids, cocaine, DUIs, all that stuff. But nonetheless, you cannot deny his raw talent, because cocaine does not teach you the abilities that Jon Jones has. That is a fact. I think this fight is going to be a fight where Jon Jones just stretches Thiago into those later rounds until he can see Thiago getting very, very tired, because Thiago does get very, very tired, and he has so much muscle density that he's carrying that around him for the full fight, that you know by the end of the second, beginning of the third round, he's going to be totally fatigued, and that hammer power is no longer going to exist, or at least it's going to be like 60% of that of what it was in round 1. 60% is still deadly, but we know Jon Jones can take a shot, and we know he's a smart son of a bitch, so is he even going to get caught by one of these shots? I don't even think so. So Thiago Santos, I need you to shut this down, please. Your keys to victory is, bro, just keep doing what you're doing. There's no way to just change your style now, so just keep doing what you're doing. Try to close that distance and throw a million bombs you can, because I think you have the power that if you do connect to one of them, it's going to change the whole fight, which could have an advantage to you. But Jon Jones is going to be crafty. Obviously, his keys to victory is keep it at a distance until Thiago Santos gets tired, and take it to the ground. And that is where I think the fight's gonna end. That's my predictions. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us. I'm telling you right now, watch UFC 239 in the fighting capital of the world, Las Vegas. It is gonna be dope and well worth the money. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, leave a like, dislike, doesn't really matter. A comment, both positive or negative. Please leave me some ideas below. I am restructuring this segment for the better of you and for the better of me. I love you guys. We are gonna see you next week and enjoy the fights this weekend. Peace.